How to grow an Instagram account from scratch. Growing from scratch today just sounds to me like so outdated. Like, who wants to start an account from scratch these days, right? And everyone out there has thousands, hundreds, even millions of followers already, and they started 10 years ago, 5 years ago with their account. They just have so much, like time competitiveness as compared to like, oh my god, I'm so late into this whole game, and how do I best grow, and how do I like work 10 times harder than everybody else? And despite this place is like a really crowded space right now, how do you even like get any attention from followers who could potentially, just hit that follow button at all? I started following people like years ago, and now my following list is no longer quite growing because I already have a network there, and I don't want to add anybody else unless they're extraordinarily unless their content is like amazingly good, unless I take literally like 5 seconds thinking about, is this account really worth following? Versus a few years ago it had that question, oh, this is interesting. So I feel like that people's acceptance of new ideas is very high, but then the likelihood of like anyone would get impressed by any new idea is dropping because it's just everyone's drowning in information and seeking for that uniqueness and that iceberg in the middle of the ocean that could pop up and then get noticed, right? So you're kind of like that ice under that ocean, and you want to get noticed. I feel like growing Instagram from scratch is no longer a strategy, but there are sites. Oh, this is not an ad, by the way. So I've recently just heard from some friends that are growth hackers talking about purchasing Instagram accounts, and I went on, I'm not gonna mention who they are, but if you just Google like buy or exchange Instagram pages, profiles, then you'll get a ton of websites that are actually dealers of Instagram accounts. That's how popular Instagram is these days, right? If you could monetize, if you could drive traffic from Instagram, why don't you just, instead of spending years growing an account from scratch, I mean, for us, we grow thousands of followers every month, and we realize that that's a lot of work, and we put into hundreds of thousands of dollars into the time and the labor generating content, right? But then like, what if you try purchasing an account that has 10k follower already, and that's only like 90 bucks, 100 bucks, and just look at their engagement rate. If their engagement rate is good, then it's not quite a farmed account. Maybe somebody just wants to get rid of it, or like there's a lot of farmers of Instagram accounts out there. They just have like this empire of followers for different accounts, and then they just ask every account to direct traffic to this one same account, and this account gets kind of also a little bit more attention, or even a lot of attention from all the followers of all these gajillion amount of followers from all their members in the empire. So this is how kind of like this network effect goes in terms of like how others were able to leverage that and like be able to create new accounts. It could potentially be inspiring for you guys as well. A lot of Instagram bloggers, a lot of Instagram influencers started having multiple accounts, and the benefit of having multiple accounts is that it's kind of like a stock portfolio. If one thing falls or one Instagram algorithm change, one account is no longer quite visible, the other account can still take up some of the visibility. So with that group effect of like targeting the same amount of audience, then you eventually have advantage. But on the flip side, you also put into more work into the whole thing, right? So think about that strategy. I would highly recommend you guys try out. Let me know how buying an account looks like. Apparently it just sounds so much of a better deal than spending time and like defying all this gravity of Instagram algorithm to grow an account versus spending 100 bucks, 200 bucks on a new account and then change the name to your business, convert it into a business account. Maybe that will be a better start. It's a little bit like purchasing list for emails, right? Instead of like spending all the time and labor to do that, why not just have somebody else already offer you their business maybe went out of business or whatever it is, but then they had a list that's valuable. I mean, buy that from them and try to find those people. I think this would be a great growth hacking technique for some of the businesses out there that are valuing time and thinking time is the most valuable, especially if your company is a really small company and you only have 2 people working on the next Google. Why spend a lot of time on Instagram? Why spend a lot of time on social media? But it's so important to have those, social media presence so that your investors and your customers thinking, oh, this business is still alive, or it has something going, right? So that's eventually like outside of just the monetary and the traffic benefits of social media. That's also a great benefit of having a social media. If you guys have questions about how to best set your Instagram profile up, feel free to DM us at Go Viral Now. It's spelled at GOALVIRALNOW, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And don't forget, guys, please just hit that subscribe button down there, and our whole team will really appreciate it. And if you love today's content, feel free to give us a thumb up, and I'll see you guys next time.